Silas here. Today I will show you how to set up a simple flow in LoadGen Studio. First, let's start off with firing up the LoadGen Studio application. Create a new flow and give it a name. After this step we can change a few settings. This includes user types. Here we'll be able to determine how many heavy, normal or light users there will be in the flow. For this specific test we only use a normal type. We will also add the default application of Internet Explorer. We'll use this application to run the tests. We'll be able to add variables. We won't do this in advance, but we'll do this later on in the flow test itself. In the iteration view it's possible to select the amount of minutes, times or a condition is met before the user stops processing the flow itself. As you can see, we have created our first flow. Change the description to something that will explain where this load test will be used for. In our case it's a Windows Server 2016 or Windows 10 20H2. Log-on block is where you usually measure the log-on time. For this test we will not be measuring or using this feature at all. In the initialize block it is common to start a desktop cleaning scripts. This will be most commonly used for a preparing phase before starting a flow. For now we will only using a send message action. This will show up in LoadGen director and we add two variables to show which user and which machine is logging in. This is very useful if you would like to monitor from the LoadGen director itself. Open up the Internet Explorer block and double click on the Start Application block. The default flow consists of a startup action group, a measurement and validation. The open website is only a URL type. We will change this site to something else in our demo. We will also add a think action to the user's thinking time. This will simulate a user that is waiting or thinking about something. Well, let's start this app and see what happens. The flow exited, and as you can see on the left there's no errors generated. When you move through the action list it will show you what action was triggered or hit. You will also be able to see that the think time in this specific test was 5.8 seconds, but it can vary depending on the settings you choose. To check if an application has successfully started, a validation is very useful. For this demo we will check if the pane Google-Internet Explorer appears in our screen. Drag the validation action into the application block, pick the control in foreground window and select the pane you need. To test if this works, we will move the think action into the control found area. Run the app and see what the flow will do, and you will probably see that the control will be found and that the think action will be started. make this test more interesting, we will create a new set of actions in the control found area. For this demo, we will open up YouTube as a new tab when a control is found. As you can see, there are some duplicate actions where the only thing that's different is a URL. To overcome an increasingly complex code, we will create something called a user action block from the actions which have the same actions. Remove the other code, which is duplicate to what is in the user action block, and drag the user action block from the left into the screen. When we open up the user action block, you will see that the previously present actions are now in the action block. To make good use of this new action block, we will be using variables which will be set before the action block, and the variable will be sent to the session in the user action block. In this case, we will need a free text variable. And inside the user action block, we will use the send variable itself. Please remove the old type action. Run the app and verify that the URLs are correct according to the variables we have declared. Exit this app and please go back to the main iteration block. Here we will create a new app based on the Internet Explorer application and rename this to Google Chrome. open the Start Application block, you'll see that both Internet Explorer and Google Chrome use the exact same steps to start the application. Also here we will create a use action block as we did previously with the URL version. Change the Internet Explorer validation to Google Chrome. This can be done by opening Google Chrome first, and only after that opening the validation. Make sure to select the caption in foreground window and click next. Here you will see all the active captions in Windows, and please make sure you check the Google Chrome one. We have now selected the Google Chrome caption, but in some cases it's better to create a wildcard check, as websites tend to change the caption of the browser. So in this case we will remove everything in front of Google Chrome and leave the first space in place. This first space will actually mean a wildcard. We can delete the actions and drag the user action block as we've created earlier on this video. It's also possible to add measurements around the action to see how long it takes to load a website in this case. This will be useful if you want to report on some specific actions. These results will also be visible in the LoadGen analyzer later on. Also for this action, we will create a validation on a caption. And we will send a screenshot to the database when the validation fails. This makes it easier to see if there's any issue with the application and what the issue is. You will be able to find this back in LoadGen Director in the Tools tab under the User Action Results button. As you can see, the application validated again correctly. And in this short video, it will give you a quick glance at LoadGen Studio, how you can make a few simple applications and try to manage some duplicate codes in order to keep your scripts clean and have one source instead of multiple of the same. Thanks for watching. Bye.